Hey, welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Jamie, and I stopped reading rules because nobody listens, so we're just going to jump right into the reading here. This will be a collective message. If you need the book of personal, that information is in the description of the video. Feel free to subscribe if you want to catch more readings. I do also offer a membership. You can find that button right where the subscribe button was. And if you want to check out my other social media links, they're all in the description of the video. Message for the collective. Just need Okay, so we have leadership. Leads, coordinates, organizes, and motivates others. Playfulness, to recapture romance. Allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. Played out. At the bottom of the deck, we have romantic love affair. Okay. We have the Three of Swords, the Ten of Cups, the Queen of Cups, the Five of Swords, the Nine of Wands, the Five of Wands, the Five of Cups, and at the bottom of the deck, the Knight of Swords. Someone's paying attention to the state of the world outside of themselves. Is what I'm getting here with the played out romantic love affair, playfulness, and leadership. Is that someone's looking at everyone like they're deeply misguided in life. They don't have the correct guidance. They grew up in broken homes, and therefore they keep creating broken homes. Everybody has this story about how they came from a broken home. But then they don't see where they themselves could have some broken ideas, where they sabotage themselves in relationships, where they haven't gotten over some of these traumas, where they're still fighting and competing and always looking at the negative side of life. And it seems like everybody's continually obsessed with what seems like love and relationships and their trauma from their upbringing, but nobody's putting the two together. And I see this here for somebody. It's like they are looking at the state of the world, and they're saying, why is everybody so upset and sad and negative, and why aren't relationships working out? And the truth is, there are relationships that are working out, and they're working for the people who've put these components together. I have these old traumas. I need to work these out. I need to get some help so that I don't have these coping skills, so that I can have a relationship that works, versus, people that just aren't that far. But to whoever I'm looking at, they're looking at most people as they're impulsive. They don't really think. They're getting into lustful situationships and causing their own, issues later on. And I think there's a bit of empathy to it. It's like, understanding, the Queen of Cups is very empathetic, understanding where people are coming from, the emotional responses that they're having, but also understanding that they can't get that deep into it, that people have to fix themselves, that if they want to stay in the negative aspects, they're going to. But that a lot of things would work out for people if they themselves would change. Like, we're looking at a lot of 5s here. So there's this realization that a lot of people just really get in their own way, especially when it comes to their interpersonal relationships. And, they don't see it for themselves. So I want to see why we're looking at this. Is it a personal thing? Like, what's going on here? The 9 of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, the Empress, Libra Taurus energy, the Page of Pentacles, the 2 of Swords, the Page of Swords, and at the bottom of the deck, the 3 of Pentacles. The 7 of Swords is behind that. It seems more like a lesson attached, where, your own growth is proof that people can change, that they can grow, that they can think about things differently, become more independent, not feel like they need someone, not feel like, this romantic love is like the main objective in life or something. Somebody is craving a different kind of people. It's like, obviously there's people like me out here, and I just need to find them. The people who can't think for themselves, the people who can't pull their head out of their own butt, they're just not for me. There could be something here about feeling like it's time, when people approach you with these specific situations, to be blunt and honest with them. And if you feel like they can't handle that blunt, honest truth, then you can't help them in any type of way. They're not somebody who's willing to compromise or do whatever. And they're, they have their own, I want to say, defensive mechanisms, let's say that, people who you couldn't even say something to where they would be able to take that truth and sort of understand that someone's not criticizing. I feel like, you are pushing the boundaries here where at this point you don't care to be liked. So if somebody comes to you with a problem, you offer them a solution. If they're not looking for the solution, then you just never need to talk to them again. They're just a waste of your time. And this, may feel not empathetic to those people who I think you've showed up empathetically to before. But at the end of the day, you've grown, you've changed, and you understand the only thing that's going to get these people to change is their want to. But that there's a bunch of other people out here that you really can mingle with that will help you to grow. I think this comes down to I don't want to say judging other people, but discernment. The state of most people's lives is based upon their own mentality, how they choose to deal with things, whether they're a victim or if they have the strength and courage to keep going. And I think here you're just recognizing that you can only be with people who are really aligned with you. These other people, you feel like you're getting nowhere with them. Like it's like you have to be available for their heartache and their pain and their negativity all of the time. They're not bringing anything of real value to your life. And, you know, another thing with this is like, say you have a friend circle, you know what I mean? And everybody's calling you when they're having breakups and fights and they're going through all this stuff. You can never even share your good times, the good things that you're going through with people, because they seem to only connect with you when they're going through something. So it seems like, you know, someone's no longer putting themselves in a position to listen to the nonsense. That's what it's like. Someone's finally seeing it as nonsense. You know, you go around people, and a lot of people are like this today, you know. They can't be accountable for anything. Everything just keeps happening to them. Their life is falling apart because of someone else. You know, the reason their romantic relationships don't work is always the other person. They have dated 150 narcissists, and they just, you know, there's no other people walking on the planet of the earth. And, you know, they don't understand why they're not finding good partners, even though they just keep finding them on freaking, you know, dating sites and weird. I think somebody's just so tired of listening to people's pity parties, you know, like they're just tired of that. They don't want those kinds of people in their life. They don't want those kinds of friends in their life anymore because it's exhausting. And I think someone has some really great stuff going on in their life that they would like to, you know, be able to share with other people. And, you know, it's like the people around them are not in a position to even, you know, be able to be happy for you or to, you know, it's like, it would be like your girlfriend calls you and she's telling you all about the fight her and her boyfriend had earlier. He just keeps cheating and he just keeps lying and she's such a good person and why would he do this to you? And you're like, oh, by the way, I got promoted at work. And they just go right back to the story of what's happening with them. It just can't even be about with you. So this is someone deciding, you know, I don't have to deal with these people. They clearly aren't serious about their own life. And I just want people around me who are taking their life seriously, who have a fucking conscience and, you know, are accountable for the things. I feel like you just want people that are like genuine, that you can, you know, connect to in a different kind of way here. I think that you're tired of being like other people's backbone or strength or just, you know, having to hold what you really want to say about what other people are going through. You know, it's like, instead of having empathy for everybody else, I think you're starting to have it for yourself here. Some self-compassion. I'm not dealing with this anymore. I want people around me that are on the same level who understand that they are responsible for their success, for their growth, and how harmonious and beautiful their life is. And anybody who's not on track with that is just, I'm going to steer clear. The Hierophant, Taurus energy, the King of Wands, the Eight of Swords, the Ten of Swords, the Four of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, and at the bottom of the deck, the King of Pentacles. So here I would suggest that you're not really in the wrong. If this is what you're guided to do, then you go ahead and take action with that. I think that there is someone very specific, or there's just a very specific situation that you're really tired of hearing about from everyone. And again, you know, when we're looking at this King of Wands, we're going to look at the fact that, of course, there's a line in there, and this wand. And he's the King of Passion. Some of you feel like people just ain't moralistically aligned with you, and that's why they don't have some things. Like, there could be people that come to you for advice because you have, especially when it comes to, like, you know, romantic relationships, some of you, like, have a very good relationship, and you do have good advice for people, but some people can't take it. Yeah, it's like, they get stuck on some kind of ending, and they just keep going and going with it, but they're not really interested in the change. So it's not saying that you're crazy here. If people want to be stuck in this search for love, or stuck on people that have hurt them time and time again, you really are just wasting your energy here. I think that there are better people to put your energy into. Like a lot of you feel like, before I sit here and give someone else the keys to their relationships or solutions to their problems that they're really not going to take, I'm just going to go over here and do what I'm supposed to do. So some of you just have, you just don't have the time or energy anymore, you know? And it's like, again, I think that where other people are, especially in their interpersonal relationships or romantic relationships, this is just not how your life is, and you feel like you can't even resonate with these people anymore. So I think the cards are just validating you that you're not wrong. Sometimes in order for us to, you know, really have our peace, and I feel like that's what we're looking for here, because I have the Knight of Wands, Temperance, and the Queen of Swords. Sometimes in order to have peace, you have to discern for yourself who else is looking for that or not. You know, it's basically, I'm validating you here that you are not a jerk for no longer wanting to deal with certain people with certain mindsets. It looks like you're just growing up, you're maturing, and certain things don't resonate with you anymore, and that is okay. I feel like you should save your empathy for the people who really need it. You know, people who are true victims, who are truly looking for a solution. Or people who can take the message, you know, when you give it. So I think that your idea about maybe just being brutally honest with people, or just telling people, you know, how you really feel about a situation is going to be best here, you know, and you're going to find if people are aligned with you when they can actually take what you're saying or when they can't. And that's that. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow.